I think we need to be letting go of all of the past before we can even begin to allow a different reality. I strongly believe more and more now that insecurity is the main issue that people have to deal with on the planet. People try to deal with their insecurity in so many different ways. Very often, those commonly accepted ways lead to conflict. Conflict within the self or within others, because another's goal or aim or idea of security could be different from yours. So conflict will arise when these 2 points of view meet. And it's not just 2 points of view, it's a great global mix of points of view. We cannot live in peace as a collective humanity while we still come from this place of personal insecurity. One of the last things that people will manage with the clearing is to be not attached to any outcome. Instead of trying to fix or change a manifesting reality, clearing is to help us develop the ability to become more objective and not get attached to any outcome whatsoever, which is why clearing differs from so many healing modalities, because many others are all attached to an outcome which they hope to achieve through a process. Clearing allows charge to fall away so that the individual can do what must be done with greater clarity and not always wanting the world to conform to your ideals of how it should be. We identify strongly with emotions. We identify with thoughts very strongly. We think I am thinking, we think I am feeling. This isolates us from the collective of which we are a part. Even though we appear to be separate, by identifying with our thoughts and emotions, we maintain the illusion of separation. A lot of the workshops we do look at how connected we all are, how totally connected, but we can't get a sense of that connection if we still identify strongly with the self. That becomes a bit of an issue. If you imagine for a moment that we're all a connected community, that there is no separation, we begin to notice feeling the pain of others. We all feel information like that all of the time. We may not notice it at the time, but it is still happening, whether we notice it or not. The whole idea of associating with the self means that we identify with that pain, for example, personally. So if you didn't know that you were clearing another, then you'd think that the symptoms you become aware of were yours. By thinking they're yours, you actually create that reality. It's really interesting looking at other programs about the mind, the nature of mind, where when I first read This Way, back in the day, there was a book by Dr. Larry Dossey called Recovering the Soul, where he and others felt that mind is non-local, meaning mind is not limited in time and space. Mind, then, is everywhere all of the time, a mind which we access through our complex nervous system. I don't believe individuals have a mind as such. We have a nervous system that accesses mind, and we tune into specific information fields based upon our conditioned past. I think we all have the potential to be able to tune in to the bigger picture, which is in a sense enlightenment, of course, omniscient, omnipresence, omnipotence, all that sort of stuff. So we've got the potential, but we limit our potential because we are addicted to certain ways of being, i.e., we are addicted to the past. So that addiction prevents us from accessing a lot more information. Having said that, if mind is not local, then all information exists in the mind, in the herald, now. No past, no future, it's all here now, but we don't access it all. We only access a tiny bit of it. Either that's because of conditioning, experience, or just trying to remain sane or fit in, again from insecurity, to fit into society, so we don't let our awareness or understanding exceed the ability of society to comprehend. You can look at people who do exceed society's expectations and have a great ability to access information, but very often they are ostracized by society because society can't keep up. It can't understand simply because it's still living in the past. So now, if there's a sea of information that we actually swim in, which is called the non-local mind, you can call it God, you can call it the divine, whatever. There's a sea of information that we swim in, and we access information from that sea. It very much depends upon our conditioned past as to what information we can access. Then the information we do access, we think it's ours. If on any level you identify with anxious thoughts or feelings, the moment you identify with this, or anything else, you're giving energy to an aspect of the mind. In this case, anxiety. What happens then is that certain chemicals are created in the brain as a result of that identification. Then those neuropeptides become amino acids. Amino acids pass through the body. The amino acids will enter the cell, creating a feeling. You call this feeling anxiety. It's just another feeling. But we developed language to try and explain what was going on for us. So we feel anxiety, and then if we identify with anxiety, of course, the brain produces more chemicals. The feeling becomes more intense. The more intense it becomes, the more we're likely to identify with it. We think we are anxious. I am anxious because the feeling is really intense. But of course, when you do that, when you identify with it, you're just giving a lot more energy to anxiety. So you become extremely anxious. The chemicals associated with anxiety, anger, or frustration can be quite toxic if they reach an excessive amount in the body. If that happens, the body starts to break down, and you suffer the results of taking that which you noticed personally. In actual fact, this feeling of anxiety was just something that was passing through your awareness, but you grabbed hold of it, took it personally, identified with it. Again, my Buddhist understanding, this would be called grasping and desire. So anxiety arises in your awareness because of your conditioning and the identification with self. You reach out and grab it and say, "This is my anxiety, ergo I am anxious." And then of course you make it yours by identifying with it, by giving it energy. The more energy you give it, the more real it appears to be, because it actually manifests in your body. Not only does it manifest in your body, but it changes your energy, which means that the information that your body is transmitting changes as well. It may be somebody else has transmitted a strong signal that you pick up on, that you then identify with. In conclusion, we can see that the mind, this non-local entity, is a vast sea of information that we tap into through our nervous system. Our conditioning, our past experiences, and our societal norms all play a role in what information we can access and how we interpret it. By becoming aware of this process, we can start to understand the nature of our thoughts and feelings, and perhaps even change the way we interact with the world around us. It's a journey of self-discovery and enlightenment, one that requires us to look beyond our immediate reality and tap into the infinite potential of the mind. Please like and subscribe to follow for more, or take a look, www.ericdowsett.com. Thanks for watching.